This is huge. Andrew Hulshult was interviewed the other day on the Quad Damage podcast, and we got some info drops that I just would have never pictured before. So fantastic. Now, what's super interesting to me too, and of course I will link the podcast in the description for the full thing, is that he and David were only given 30 days to make the Ancient Gods 1 soundtrack. Let it sink in for a minute. The whole instance of how much time Mick had or didn't have is to the side there. We know that in those 30 days, Andrew and David were meant to make some bangers. Everything they had was composed in that time, plus, of course, I'm sure whatever they brought in from the past. And just to know that the tight constraints, and yet we still got the Blood Swamps, we still got Imora, Holt, so much cool stuff. And in Tag 2, they were only given 2.5 to 3 months. So it really makes you... I don't know all the details behind all these situations of who had this much time and that much time. That's beside the point. What is the point is that this short time frame produced magic. Now, the Ancient Gods soundtrack, he was actually asked to submit demos for, but he was burned out on it by that time, which I get it. I mean, if you're working hard, you're pushing, you're very covered with things. Why was he burned out? Well, I got some theories we're going to get to here in a second. So he wanted to do it, I'm sure, but there's just too much in the way of that. And that's okay. You can only handle so much as a human. He had some other obligations, like he was starting to work on the movie soundtrack, I believe Iron Lung, wasn't it? And just, that's a lot. I'm sure that's a lot, especially with such a huge endeavor to take on a whole movie soundtrack is massive, and that's going to command a lot of time and energy and brain power from him. He said that in the interview that they wanted to have demos submitted, and it sounds like that they really wanted to have him involved in some way and want him to submit demos over. Not like a guarantee to have him on, but something to just have the interest there. And if you listen to Decay from the Proteus soundtrack, it's kind of like the initial demo that he would send in to get hired for Tag, the Ancient Gods, but a little bit different, a little more fleshed out. It's not the exact same that was sent in, but the core track is similar. It was still refined for a full release. I just find interesting how we look at the short time frames they had and almost for the future. I've addressed before in a video what it could have been. People have questions. What would have this sounded like? What would have that sounded like? And while we never truly know, we do have a little bit of extra glimpse of history now that we never had before in these 5+ years, 10 almost of Doom 2016. Now, I said it was the Quad Damage podcast he was in. I'll put the link in the description below, of course. But you do need to see what I have to say here about Mick Gordon Isn't Doom, because those are questions that a lot of people have that really need talked about. So click the link on the screen so you can not miss out on that, and I'll see you in that video.